John again from Foster's Financial. This week I'm talking about how much you can borrow. How much can you borrow from UK banks and building societies on a mortgage? What does it look like? How do they work it out? The tips, the tricks, the secrets. Hopefully you'll know more after this video. So, hopefully that helps you. Stay tuned, it's coming up next. Before we get into the video, I want to tell you a little bit about us. Foster's Financial is a mortgage brokerage based here in Colchester, Essex, and we look after clients across the UK. Every month we help hundreds of clients secure a new mortgage against their property, and we also protect hundreds of families in the process every month too. We do this by providing quality, bespoke, independent advice to suit our clients' needs and desires. If we can help you, please give us a call on the number here and one of our team will be very happy to help. But without further ado, let's get into the video. How much can you borrow on a UK mortgage? Well, the answer to that is that it's different for everyone. Everybody is unique. Everyone has a unique set of circumstances, which changes the way that a lender will view your application and ultimately make a decision on how much they're willing to lend you. The things that influence these lenders' decisions are how much you earn, how many debts you have, how many dependents you have, and how much deposit you have. And they're the four key things that a lender looks at, along with your overall credit score, to determine how much you can borrow. As a generic rule of thumb, the rule has always been that you could expect to borrow around 4.5 times your salary. So if you earn £10,000, you might expect to borrow £45,000. However, in recent years, it's got a little bit more complicated than that. And the formulas for working such things out have become a little bit more convoluted and interesting. Every lender will view your circumstances in a different way and give you a different amount that you can borrow. One lender might say they will lend you £40,000 and another one might say £140,000. And there can be quite a significant difference depending on the bank that you go to and approach. What you should always do is go and speak to your local independent expert. They will be able to look at the whole of the market for you and give you some advice on which lender would be most accepting of your personal circumstances. Whether that's us or someone else, we'd be very happy to help. I know others would too, and they would give you some bespoke advice to your circumstances. But let me talk a little bit more about what they're going to look at. So the first thing they're going to look at is your income. They're going to look at how you're paid and how you generate your income. Are you employed? Are you self-employed? Because depending on the answer to that will depend on how some banks might look at it. Some banks and building societies may be more favourable towards an employed income, whereas others may be more favourable towards self-employed. If you're a self-employed person, then you're going to receive income in various formats. It could be profit, it could be dividends, or it could be a salary, or it could be a mixture of all three. And depending on what the mix of that is and the amounts involved will depend on which bank or building society is right for you and how they would lend you that money. To find out more about how you as a self-employed person are affected on a mortgage and the positives and negatives, please have a look at our self-employed video. If you're employed, they're going to be looking at what's your basic salary and what are your added benefits, what are your additional revenue income streams. So for example, do you receive overtime? Do you receive shift allowance? Do you receive commission, bonuses, or a multitude of other things? What we as advisors will do is look at your income over a prolonged period of time. That might be the most recent 3 months, or it could be even 6 or 12 months, depending on your circumstances. And we will then work out what a lender would view as your income over that period and how to declare it properly to the lender concerned. The second thing that a lender's going to look at is your debts and your commitments. So that's things such as credit cards or loans, Car loans, sometimes people don't think have an effect, but they really do, especially the big monthly payments. But it might also be things like nursery fees or big pension payments and a number of other things. But they're going to be looking at what's going out of your bank account before you've got money to spend. The next thing they're going to be looking at is your deposit. How much deposit have you got? The minimum you need for a UK mortgage is 5%. So that's 5% of the house value. So if the house was valued at £100,000, the minimum would be £5,000, which is 5%. The more deposit you get, the more generous a lender is going to be on how much they're going to lend you and what terms they're prepared to offer. The last thing that they're going to look at is any dependents you have. Now, if you have one child or dependent, then that's going to have less of an effect in terms of what you can borrow than if you were to have 4, 5, 6 or even more dependents. Obviously, when you have a dependent, that creates a financial burden that you need to be able to afford and pay. And therefore, any lender is going to take that into account when they're considering your overall borrowing capacity. So they're the key things, but overarching all of that is your credit. Have you missed payments? Have you ever been bankrupt? Have you had county court judgments or defaults? What is your credit history like? And any of those things where there's a blemish on your credit file can affect your ability to get a mortgage and can affect how much you're ultimately able to borrow. But as I said at the beginning, everyone's circumstances are completely unique and every lender views everyone in a different way. Our job as advisors is to provide you with the advice that you need to find the best possible solution for your circumstances, based on your objectives. There's plenty of mortgage advisors out there. We're obviously one of them and we'd be very happy to help. For all of our YouTube subscribers, we offer a free consultation. So if you would like to find out more about how much you could borrow, what that would look like, monthly payments, next steps and all of that, then please give one of our advisor team on the number below. So that's all for today's video. I hope that's been really useful. I hope it's given you some really clear understanding as to how a lender in the UK equates and calculates how much you can borrow. There's lots more videos on our YouTube channel which hopefully will be very helpful to you. Please don't forget to share, like and subscribe to keep notified about all our new videos and keep an eye on the channel. Also, just a reminder to follow us on our social channels where we share lots of interesting and helpful advice. But for now, that's all. So thank you for watching and we'll see you next time.